The condition is really crazy condition.
I mean, that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurfing.
Matteo Iachino giving Antoine Albo a run for his money. Here we go. What a finish.
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team's just got to work a little harder.
Welcome to the Windsurfing Podcast. Back again with another interesting one. Yes, and this week we have got an up-and-coming wave ripper. Although he didn't start his life out as a wave ripper. He actually got his main background in slalom. We're going to talk to him about, we're going to talk about injuries. We're going to talk to him about the pandemic, the kind of lull in events that there was. We're going to talk to you about the new tour, the IWT and PWA joining forces. We're going to talk about gear development and how all that works out. Going to talk about the future aspirations and how he sees the tour going. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about sacrifices you make as a young lad by doing the windsurfing journey. Who is it? Well, it is, of course, Marc Paré.
Mark, what's up? Welcome to the podcast.
How are you? Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Some nice palm trees behind. I don't know. You're in Maui, right?
Yeah, I'm in Maui. Just in the room right now, so not many palm trees.
Living the life still. Photo shoot, training. What are you up to?
At the moment, basically, I came for some testing and mainly because it was a little closer to Japan as well. And we have the event coming up in, like a couple of weeks or like a week and a half. So, yeah, it was good just to come, get some of the gear ready with the Sylt designer. And, yeah, we are working on some fins currently as well. And, yeah, basically just get ready and sell a little bit of starboard tack before heading there.
Yeah. So you are going to Japan, and I guess as a guy that sailed a lot of different conditions in the past, let's say, few years, whatever, I would assume you like the new tour as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's super nice, and I think it's gonna push both the level of each competitor, and because it's gonna kind of force everyone to kind of get better in all kind of conditions, and I think it's amazing for the sport in general. I'm super excited for this change, and I'm definitely looking forward to starting the tour this year.
Yeah, and when you see a calendar like this, how do you decide like which events you're gonna do? You want to do a lot to get yourself a chance at getting good results. More chances, let's say, it's probably easier to get a good result, but then you don't want to also overdo it. Like, what's the calculation there?
Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna try and do all the 5-star events. That's my main goal, just the ones that give the max points. But I'm looking into going maybe to one of the 4 stars in Chile. Just because I've been spending some time in Chile, and I love that place. So just
so what are the 5
why.
stars? What are the 5 stars? Japan, Pozo.
Yeah, Japan, Fiji. Pozo, Tenerife, Sylt, and Maui. And unfortunately, Cape Verde they couldn't make it happen in the end. But I think our tour is looking pretty healthy at the moment. So excited about it.
Yeah. So and the points, like, what if you win a 4-star event? It's like you come in a 5-star.
It's like 13th. It's like a 13th place of a 5-star, so it counts 40% points. This I think this decision was mainly done to not force all the top riders to go to all those extra events, and as well leave room for other people to be able to break into the top 5 stars, to qualify for the top for the 5-star events.
Yeah. You think that changes a lot? Like, in terms of what riders are going to do good. I mean, there's a lot more starboard tack or a lot more possibilities. There's that a lot more down the line. What are you like, you know, for you, like, are you excited, stressed? You sail a lot of different conditions, but there are specialists as well. So are you looking at people, or are you just...
I think for me, I just, again, being something new, I don't know what to expect really, and I'm just gonna do my best. And I feel like the way, like with the amount of events we have scoring this year, anything could happen. It could either be like just a full-on jumper winning, or like it could be more like a down the line specialist winning the world tour. But hopefully, it's gonna be the most all-round one. And maybe in the future, hopefully we get one more event scoring. Instead of 3+1, it will be 4+1, and I think that's gonna make it a little more fair. But yeah, I think it's, as I said, it's a very positive thing, and we're gonna see everyone increasing their level in all kinds of conditions, which I think that's what we want for the sport, and yeah, it was long due.
Yeah. So as you said, it's right now it's 3 chosen events plus Maui. And what's the word on the street? Like, people are gonna choose their pet events, or everybody's gonna do everything, or what do you think is because you can do your 3 good events that you feel good at, but if you fuck up in one, then all of a sudden you need to go to one that doesn't fit you so well, and it's kind of tricky, I think.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a mix. There's some of the guys that they are mainly just gonna rely on their backup in a 4-star event, which is okay. And then some others like myself or Robbie Brow, we are gonna aim for all the 5-star events. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to personal preference and decision. We want to make sure we make use of that discard, and we go to all the events and try to do our best in all the events. And then some other people just for money reasons, maybe they cannot afford to go to all these 5 stars, and then they have to sacrifice 1 or 2 of the 5 stars, and then instead go to one of the 4 stars, just because it might be a little cheaper for them, or it might be more suitable for their forte in the kind of conditions they sail in. So
yeah, because 13 sounds like shit, but it's actually, like, you can still be probably top 5 counting at 13th, right? I mean, we're about to see, but
yeah, you can probably do like 2 really good results, like top 3, and then have a 13th place if you win the 4-star and still do good, still be up there. So yeah.
What is your forte, you feel like? Because I know you analyze quite a lot of yourself. If you had to, let's put 4 categories, like let's put starboard jumping, starboard riding, port jumping, port riding. What is your current, like, strengths and weaknesses? Let's do a little analysis.
Yeah, probably, I mean, port jumping and riding must be up there, and then I've been sailing a lot of starboard tack wave riding for the past few years, so I guess that's already started to balance out. And jumping starboard tack I've done a little bit less, but no, I still feel like I can defend myself. Been here on Maui now for the past 3 days, and every single double I tried, I landed, which I'm happy. So I think it more or less, it's balanced out. But definitely, for jumping, I do feel more comfortable on port tack than starboard tack.
Yeah, because Japan looks like it's gonna be, it's gonna be 2 jumps probably. So that's gonna be interesting, I think. Yeah, nobody's been training that and whatever. And the place you come from, I mean, generally a lot of the Spanish coast is mostly starboard tack. Is that correct, or am I making something up?
Spanish coast. Yeah, I mean, not where I live. To be honest, that's we normally never get waves, and then when we do, it's sport tack mainly because it works with north wind. But
In
for
Pals,
example,
right?
Almerimar, where Victor lives, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, but from where Victor is from in Almerimar, that's mainly starboard tack. You know, they do get some port tack as well, but it's mainly starboard. So yeah, and then Tarifa is normally port tack as well. So
yeah.
even though they get some starboard every now and again.
Yeah. And you mentioned not much waves. You grew up racing and freestyling, mostly racing.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, exactly.
sounds. I don't know. I
That
think
was my
like
my origins.
yeah, it sounds a little bit ridiculous right now. Like if you had, I mean, right now you're fully into this wave stuff, but I probably met you like I don't know 8 years ago or whatever. You were kind of still not really decided, or you were still doing. I remember you were still actually training slalom and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but at one point, I don't know. I actually never expected that I would be wave sailing. You know, because I don't know. I came from somewhere that I was never sailing waves, pretty much. Only sailing on big stuff in slalom, and then freestyling a little bit. So yeah, it was a little bit of a shock, but it just happened to be like that, and started to improve in the waves, and yeah, at one point I'm really skinny, even though I'm tall. So at one point, I was not really uh, anymore, that fast compared to the guys my age in slalom, and so then I just had to make the decision, and I slowly started shifting to waves.
Yeah, and yeah, but kind of I wanted to ask you this because, like you say, you come from a place with not much conditions, but maybe with a little bit more support. With you always had some sponsors, and it was kind of. You think it's better to come, from a worse place and travel that you're able to, or actually live in a good place? Like if you compare, like you have a lot of guys your age from Pozo, for example, and if you compare yourself like this to them, of course everybody's different, but it seems that you're able when if you come from a worse place but you have a little bit more support, it seems like you can sail in different conditions. And so what's your take on this? I'm asking because I also come from a shitty place, so
Mm, yeah, yeah, no, I think definitely traveling is what helped me improve, and maybe made me more hungry, because you don't have the chance to do it all the time, and maybe people that lives in good places, they have the chance to do it, as much as they want, pretty much. So then, I think it just it's a mix of that of being hungry for it, and then traveling to different locations just builds you up. So I guess it's a good thing, but I think you can both take your chances, both if you live in a place where you can actually train in good conditions, or you live in a place where the conditions are shitty, can actually move around. Because I remember as well at the beginning, it was tough for me with the sponsors, and especially when I started when I wanted to do the tour. And at the beginning, my dad didn't have much money and stuff, so it was a little tough. So we had to make some sacrifices, and we kind of opened the company together. We asked for money, and so it was a little bit of an investment. So I think what it doesn't matter where you come from. I think if you are willing to and you're hungry for it, it's you can make it happen, no?
Yeah. And when you look back now, because I remember you, and like you say, tall, skinny, wearing a helmet. I don't know if you were wearing boots maybe as well, or something like this. Long legs, and I remember you could jump, or always pretty much, and kind of do those freestyle-y things. But no offense, but you couldn't wave ride for shit. So how, like, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to be a wave sailor. How do you progress from there? For like anyone, do you like mostly, I don't know, watch tape, or you get tips from, from Victor was kind of, I guess, quite an influence, a lot of the Canarian guys as well. And how do you progress from there to to kind of being, because you need to be able on tour, I guess your main thing was always, okay, I want to do good in contests, and you need you need that. So how do you process that?
So it was funny, as you say. I couldn't really wave ride, or I didn't really understand at the beginning what wave riding was, especially, it's not like I was surfing or anything, so I didn't really understand about it. And for me, I grew up at the beginning. For me, wave sailing, I would just watch Pozo all the time, or Denmark, and back then Philip was the one setting the pace, and he was doing all these freestyle moves. So for me, that was what it is, just doing slidey takas and just kind of freestyle moves in the onshore stuff, and that's what I wanted to do: jump and do this takas and goiters and stuff. But with traveling, your perception changes, and then I started hanging out with other pros, and then I started learning what wave riding was, and all this stuff, and then slowly I started falling in love with it, and now I actually prefer to do a good rail turn, or wave ride good conditions than jumping. It's much more rewarding for me, and I love the feeling way more. So, and I think it's there's a lot to learn, like with jumping. You can always go higher, you can always do it with a little different technique, a little bit better, but but basically with wave riding, you can always do it different. You can do a different kind of turn, approach the section a little different, try and push a little harder, maybe lean a little more in a different way, be a little bit more over the sail. So this I really enjoy, and then once you get there, then you start realizing how much boards affect on your wave riding, and changing little things, change the way you approach a wave, and the way you can turn, and then just start tripping and getting into this crazy world. And that's where I'm at right now, and that's what I love, just tripping about wave riding and about boards and all this stuff.
But how do you like define style, or how do you teach style, or how do you like what somebody had to show you to be like, look, this is how a turn is, because we know how a turn is supposed to look, but before somebody tells you what it's supposed to look or supposed to feel like, or then you kind of, as you say, like you see people sliding around and you think it's cool, but so how do you define style for you?
Style, I guess style is a complicated one, and it's quite subjective. Depends on each one of us is going to find one thing stylish. For example, there's people that find this kind of a little bit more tight and loose style, where the tail just goes loose and without pushing much, but it looks flowy, and then people like that. And me, for example, I find stylish and more technical, being able to push, and just dig the rail in, and demolish the lip with all your force. That's for me what I like, and what I find stylish and technical, because but again, it is stylish as well to just kind of flow and be a little bit more smooth, but yeah, again, I think it's pretty subjective, and me, I like something a little more rail oriented and like a bit more powerful, and this is what I find stylish.
Yeah. So any major inspirations, guys, in, I don't know, in surfing and windsurfing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it came through surfing as well that I started, finding even more love for wave riding and being more like, wow, I wish I could do that as well, with my sail on the hands as well, So, I mean, Victor had some influence in me as well, but Victor, I would say he's a little smoother than than me and the style that I want to approach. I like brow style, that's more
Who doesn't?
the kind of sailing. Yeah, exactly. That's more the kind of sailing that I like to do, or that I want to try and do, when I'm out in a wave, just go and just unleash the beast, and just try and push as hard as I can. And you can see as well Brow's progression. At the beginning you could see his lines were a little bit more parallel. He was not going that vertical in the wave, and now you can see him go more vertical, and this I like, because that's, for example, something that as well I didn't try to do before. For me it was just like, just try to turn and demolish. But now, I try to always get like this a bit more variety and try to go a little bit more vertical, and so yeah, I don't think I'm chasing anyone's style in particular. I know some people like Jaeger style a lot, more like tail blows. Arthur likes to sail more like blowing tail all the time, not much rail turning. And me, for example, I like a little bit of both, but especially more like trying to connect the rail all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were kind of, growing up and there, and you're like the next big thing, and everybody's, profit is always hyping you up and this and that. But it really seems like when the pandemic happened, it was kind of, for many guys, like a reset. Some guys retired, some guys, I don't know, were stuck in some places, some guys were, I don't know, whatever. And you were sailing a lot, and you kept kind of preparing for that return of competition, and and doing stuff. Am I getting this right? Was it this, like, those 2 years that you almost had no contests? Was that kind of like, did you see yourself like, oh, I'm actually improving because everybody's maybe kind of taking it a little bit slower?
Yeah, mainly for me, I just tried to stay active. I just tried to keep traveling, keep training, keep as much time on the water as I could. But as well, like at the beginning, I remember just before the pandemic, I was like super pumped and hungry, and then it was quite hard as well for me mentally when suddenly you could see the tour kind of just dissipating, and nothing was happening, and suddenly you could see that nothing was going to happen, in like a year and a half. So that was quite hard for me, when you kind of are putting all this effort, and then you don't get to show. So it was definitely quite nerve-wracking for me coming back this year to Pozo, especially after the injury and not being able to go to Cape Verde, where everyone started the tour. It was quite nerve-wracking for me, but it was nice, and I could feel like I matured mentally compared to the last year I competed in 2019, and definitely took different choices and a little more relaxed and objective.
Yeah, so it definitely felt like, you were training for like 3 years and traveling and doing all these things and really improving, and then you probably felt ready. All your socials were like, "Oh, I'm ready, this and that," and then the injury happens, and you miss the first event of 2022. How tough is this, like, mentally, to stay the
Yeah,
course?
yeah, it was hard actually, and it actually hit me pretty hard. Like I just when I decided to have surgery because I thought it was, yeah. I mean, I just had to, I was like I kind of made my mind up, and I was like kind of relaxed, and I was like, okay, I might just not make it to get better. That's okay. I'd rather be 100%. But then, yeah, reality hit home when the contest started, and then that was super tough for me.
Did you watch?
It was super. Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and I was just freaking out, and it almost kind of gave me anxiety. I had anxiety for a couple of weeks. It was tough, to watch everyone out there and me not being able to go there. But again, it was good as well. It gave me a different perspective to watch it from outside for once. Yeah, and I guess it just was meant to happen that way, and hopefully, yeah, from here onwards, I can just fight and push for what I'm looking for without many
Yeah.
setbacks.
Yeah, and then Pozo, I would say, it didn't, especially on the single elimination, didn't also go very smoothly, let's say.
Yeah,
And then you must be, were you like calm and like, because when you're confident, when you're really confident, like if there's those hurdles, you're like, okay, I'm gonna make it anyway. It's just a matter of time, or just a matter. But
yeah,
it's not human nature. Human nature is to freak the fuck out, like,
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
again. So how was your mindset after losing in Pozo early, on the single?
Um, I was, yeah. I mean, I was upset, because that's definitely not the spot that I wanted to find myself in. Uh, but at the same time, it is what it is. My sitting was a little fucked already from not going to Cape Verde, and then that, I think, played a big role. I think when I lost in the single, I had the second best hit score of that round, and then but Philip just had that extra points, and yeah, it was what it was. But at the end of the day, if you want to win, you just gotta lay it out, no matter what. So yeah, what was definitely upsetting, but it made me hungry, for more. And
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Yeah,
just
and then
I kept
you
training and
passed a
sailing.
million heats. You passed a million heats in the double and came back kind of okay, right? I mean, not what you wanted, probably, but
Yeah, yeah,
but at least,
yeah, yeah. It was that definitely. I felt like I came out of the event not satisfied with the result that I got, but yeah, it made me hungry for, to do better, and just kind of
yeah,
told myself that, yeah, you don't want to be in the position where you lose a little too early, but sometimes it's just how it is, and it just, you cannot do anything about it. You try your best, and sometimes it just
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
work out. But I was
And
happy overall, with yeah, with how I managed most of the hits, besides my last one where I just didn't anything seem to line up with me. But yeah, the yeah, the rest I was quite happy with.
yeah, and then coming into Sylt. Sylt is a place where you can get upset. You can,
Yeah,
like, you can be kind of scared that you're gonna, that it's really tricky, or you can see it as an opportunity, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, this year or last year, the conditions were pretty sick, but usually
Mm-hmm.
it's really difficult, let's say low performance conditions, right? And kind of, so what
Yeah.
was, you had expectations going in, or
Yeah, not really, actually. I try not to go in like with too much pressure on myself, and just basically try to play out and do the best I can each hit. And it's definitely, as you said, Sylt is a little nerve wracking compared to our spots, because spots it's a little easier to control. You normally can, unless it's really flat and then you don't get the waves that you're supposed to get. It's really easier, to just lay out what you have been practicing. But still, there's way too many factors playing in. So yeah, it was a little more nerve wracking. And my first heat, I went quite conservative, I would say. I didn't push it too far, especially with the heavy short break. Sometimes it's just make or break. You either make it or you just get pounded all the time. And but I could see. I looked at the scores after the heat. I was like, and then I looked at some other heats, and I was looking at the conditions, and then I realized if I wanted to do good, I just had to go all in. I couldn't, you couldn't just hold back. So then it was like from that heat onwards, I just started like pushing and giving it all, and then I think it was a good decision, even though sometimes I shit, but I knew that it was the way to get the scores, like you could just not wiggle it and take it easy with a short break, because then you would get like a shit score. So I had to actually go and try and hit it and do like some moves in the short break. So I think that was a good decision in the end.
Yeah, and then you pass one heat, you pass two heats, you pass three heats. At what point you're like starting to feel like, oh, actually this kind of went my way, or this is where I want to be, this is what I deserve, or this is what I, like what was the process of, because you passed some pretty crucial heats, and sometimes the difference between being seventh, ninth, fifth, and actually being on the podium is one wave, or one jump,
exactly.
one decision in one heat, and many times it feels like it's just going towards the same guys. Let's say there is quite a few guys that if the heat is close, you kind of have this weird sense that they're actually probably gonna pass, you know what I mean? And what do you think you need to become that person, or how did it feel in Sylt when it actually started clicking?
Basically I would say these people, like Victor, for example, he's the best example. He's just a freaking machine. Like the guy, he can just make up a score out of nowhere. And and he's very good at playing with whatever the conditions offer at the moment of the heat. And I think that's basically what you need. And going back to what you say, the point, normally I would always get stuck, like in the past years in quarterfinals, and that was like, oh fuck, not again, So then at the moment I made it through to semifinals, I was like, okay, that's it now we are there, and I would say the hit against Brow, was I think we both had our little moment where I was like, oh fuck, I knew I needed a higher jump, because I saw him do a stall double, and I was like, oh fuck, okay, I need one, and then I couldn't really find it, and then it was the opposite with him. Like he was just freaking out with the jumps, and then he didn't get any waves, and then I had that really good wave where I could link like a couple turns and a 360, so so at the end, it went my way, and I just needed like a small jump, and from at the moment that I knew that I made it through semifinals into the final, that was like crazy. I was like, fuck, I just started crying, because that was like what I had been looking for a long time, and it was a weird feeling, because I was like super happy, and at the same time my brain was like, okay, calm down, because this is not done yet. So I just wanted to keep focus, and of course I wanted to take
it
the
definitely
win.
seemed like like when somebody wins a world title, usually the next heat is terrible. It kind of seemed like that with you. That wasn't terrible, but it was it
Yeah.
was not what you did in the semis and whatever. So
Yeah.
probably that kind of pressure, you were like, at that point you
Yeah.
were happy, right? With
Yeah. So that was that was the hardest part for me, just managing that all that boom of emotions, So I just tried to channel it, and it was tried to manage my nerves and my emotions to the point where I know I work the best. And so it was a hard final, and I think it was close. I fucked up one of the waves where I think if I would have landed, that would have edged me in front maybe. But it is what it is. But definitely it was a weird feeling because it didn't feel much different than when I used to lose. I think it's different when you win the event, but when you come second, and you lose the last hit, it's like, fuck, I've been there before. I've just done it like a little later to lose, and it was hard for me to realize as well. It was like, fuck, you're second, but you
But
kind
you
of wanted
lost.
more at the same time. Yeah. So it was a weird feeling, and it took me a couple of days, to think it through. I was like, okay, you're actually second. That's good.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
then you
We
kind
made
of
it.
you kind of realize to what world titles, I guess, are made of, no? These kind of moments, and managing
Yeah.
your emotions in that moment, and really, grabbing that chance, and it seems like everybody has that moment where something starts clicking, and then it needs to start clicking consistently, and then when it starts to click consistently, then you need like the finishing touches,
Yeah.
You think you're ready, like with your with your mindset, and with obviously the gear plays a part, and okay, it's a new tour as well, right? What's
Yeah.
your world title journey status right now?
Yeah, I don't know actually. As you say, this year is quite a bit different with a completely different tour now. So I think just gotta wait and see how the events play out. But definitely, I'm feeling good. I feel like I've done my job. Been working a lot on sales with Guy here on Maui. Been training as much as I can. I haven't really stopped. Windsurfing and wave sailing since after Sylt. So I think that's good. And I feel like I've done my job the last years as well, of spending more time here on Maui and sailing more starboard tack, which maybe others haven't done. And I think that gives me as well this extra boost of confidence.
Yeah, you go to Japan, you draw somebody that has a completely shitty seeding, and you lose first round. There's no double elimination. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm really competitive, so I would definitely be fucking fuming. I would be really pissed. And I would be quite hard on myself if this happened, but at the same time, I would just be fucking hungry and on for the next event if this happens.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the opposite.
So
You go to Japan, all those little moments we talked about, they go your way. You win the event.
yeah,
Where is your head at?
I think just happiness and just let's keep the ball rolling, because that's how I felt after Sylt. I was like, fuck, just one more events right now. I just wanna keep it going. I would like to have an event next weekend and just go again. Because I think the more you do it, the more you make that snowball, no? So
Yeah.
I think that's what would happen.
Yeah. Okay, let's break it down a little bit. So you mentioned the gear. Everybody tells me you're quite anal with the equipment. What are you looking for? Let's say, first of all, let's start. How many boards in a quiver, in a perfect Marc quiver? Because you don't want too many also. You want something you trust, and so how many boards?
I mean, to take with me to competition or just to have in general?
No, to take with you to competition without the fun
Yeah.
boards, the gimmicks, the weird shit, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I mean, for example, if now here with me, I took 6 boards, but as well because I'm flying. But when I go with my van, I probably take at least 2 boards of each size, you know. So I sometimes end up with 10 boards in my van, easy. So yeah, that's for me to feel comfortable, to feel like, you know, it might be too much. In the end, I'm just going to end up using those 3 boards that I know I trust, you know, because that's just how it is. But just for me to feel comfortable, to feel like, okay, Mark, you have everything ready in case something goes bad and something breaks, which is not normally, but it could happen, you know. Then I have that board ready for me to compete, and I know I could sail it as well, you know, and I could be comfortable with.
And you have sideshore and onshore boards, or what's the you know, what are the models
I've been using mainly like production shapes lately, and then I do have like a couple of protos, and you know, for upcoming years, and you know, of different concepts, and I do have different sideshore boards now that I mean,
So the
we
production
just
boards
made
are
them
the
not long ago.
onshore. So the production boards are what you use in onshore, basically. I mean, we say onshore, but I mean like onshore to sideshore, let's say jumping,
Yeah, exactly.
European
Exactly.
conditions.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless it's really specific, you know, like here on Maui. You know, I use pretty much the same kind of board everywhere, you know, and I think it's good in some ways, you know, that I use such a similar shape everywhere, because then you kind of are used to it, and you know how it's going to react most of the times. So that's why I like to use similar boards everywhere.
Fins, freaking out about fins. You said you're designing
Yeah.
some new stuff.
Yeah, completely freaking out with that. The other day I was organizing some of the fins I have at home. I have like 4 bags like full of fins, you know. I was like going mental just to deciding what to take, especially because I knew he was gonna design some new stuff. And we are working on some interesting fins actually at the moment. Like some he made some asymmetric already in the past that I really loved, and now we are just
Fronts
tweaking
or
those.
backs, also backs asymmetric.
No, just front fins. Just front fins. At the moment, just front fins. And and the last days I've been just testing like a newer version of that asymmetric one. Yesterday he was cutting some slightly smaller ones of that version because I liked it. And yeah, he made as well a rear fin slightly softer. And yeah, yesterday was basically just changing fins and filling them out on the boards. And yeah, it makes a huge difference, you know, like having having one shape, or like slightly more asymmetric, or you know, slightly softer, slightly more rake, slightly more upright. It's massive. So yeah,
Even like
it's definitely
positions, like
interesting.
fin positions, no? Like I found that with a certain front fin, I can go further apart between the fins, where, you know, with other front fins, you have to stay really close to the back fins and things like that. So, yeah.
No, it makes a huge difference, you know, as you say, fin placement and just the fin shape itself. And it's super interesting, you know, and I'm glad I have the chance at the moment to be working on that and learning, of course, about it.
Yeah. What's more in the gear that you're anal about? Masts, I don't know.
Yeah, I think boards and fins, I'm pretty, tough about it. And sails as well, but yeah, I mean, it's just everything. I just like to have everything, everything quite spot on. It's just nice here on Maui, to be honest, because we have the chance to work, with Kai, you know, all the time, and then we, we do like a lot of work on that, and we achieve some amazing stuff, and we're constantly working on new stuff, and now we're working on new materials and this and that. So it's it's definitely, I'm very lucky with that.
But what if I tell you Philip won 5 titles on basically production boards? What is your reply to that?
No, that's fine. I think it's that it's a kind of board that fitted him. I know he was selling on that kind of shape for a long time, and at the end of the day, it's about what you feel comfortable with and what suits your style. I think that's super important.
But it's not even about
for a long time.
this. It's not even about this, but it's about like the really nailing down the details versus sailing on something long enough that you feel comfortable. There's these 2 schools of thought, that either you adjust the gear to yourself or you adjust yourself to the gear. And we've seen both succeed. So I wonder where you are with that.
Yeah. No, I think as I was mentioning, I've been using the same shapes now for the past 2 years almost now. And, that's pretty much what went in production now, and I'm happy and comfortable with that. So that's why I was using that board here on Maui all the time in spring and in the fall last year, and I was just comfortable with, and of course here's slightly more extreme, and you might need something a little more tweaked, but I knew what the board was doing and how it was reacting. So that's you get, as you said, it's important as well to kind of get used to it, and it's a mix of both adapting and playing around with fins as well. You can achieve a lot of things. So, yeah.
We mentioned traveling a little bit. You've done a few projects here and there. Iceland, Norway. Sounds like a lot of peeing in the wetsuit type locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's on the calendar now? Just competing or anything up your sleeve still?
It's actually, it's funny you talk about this because I've been just been in just some conversations now, trying to see and organize potential destinations and trips for this year. Of course, the plan is to stay a bit more focused just on competing, but I want to keep on traveling to new locations as long as I can, and producing videos, because I found a lot of enjoyment and love with that, and if I have the chance, of course, I'd like to do it, because it fills me up quite a bit, it's quite fulfilling for me to do this kind of projects.
So what locations? Spill the beans, come on.
I mean, at the moment, again, we haven't discussed much, but somewhere like Ireland, that it's just around the corner. I've never been to, and I would like to go. So it would be cool to do something there, even if it's just for a short trip, And then there's other locations. There's one specifically that I have in mind. It's very cold. It's up north and really far away, but that one I have it planned for in 1 year and a half or 2, and it's going to be a big project, this one, and this one I'm really excited about. Unfortunately,
and this one you're not telling.
No, this one I cannot disclose the information. But it's going to be a big project because it takes long time of planning.
So how do you on how many trips are you actually able to break even or make money, and how many trips a pro windsurfer has to finance and just do for the love and to anybody that's listening, Mark just took a deep breath and a big sigh.
I did. So I would say 90% of the trips it's like for the love, and you end up actually putting money from your own pocket to make it to finish it, make it happen. But it's okay. At the end of the day, we take the experience, and and that will always be with us, I would say.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the future, more money to come. But for now, it's more like a 90% and 10%, I would say.
Yeah. Well, 10% is still okay if you make. Yeah, that's already more than I expected from this answer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your top 5 locations that you've been to.
Top 5. Chile, for sure. Iceland was one of them because it was super special. I enjoyed Norway as well, even though we didn't get that many good conditions. I like Maui too, but it's a little bit always the
Obvious,
same.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah, I like Denmark as well. I like Northern Europe. It's been quite a special location for me. Yeah, since I started competing, because it was like my first ever event in the world tour, and it kind of hooked me up already from the, and took me in since the very first time. I fell in love with the place.
Well,
yeah,
in the place, and I think there's a few more reason. One more reason why you're
one more
almost living there, but
yeah, might be one more. But yeah, since the beginning I felt connected to the place. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Top 5 still on your list to go to.
Indo for sure. Ireland, Northern Scotland, of course, as well. What else? Mauritius, I haven't been to. I would like to. I mean, I could name a lot of places. I don't think I can name a top 5. There's a lot of places that I want to go to. And,
give us something that is not obvious. That is not Fiji. That is not Tahiti. That is not
obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, a little hint, and I'm giving something away here. Alaska.
Yeah. That seems like yeah. There's been a few surf trips, right, on the search and things like that, and yeah.
So that's
okay.
Right up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Your travel crew, you go big, you go small. You prefer one cameraman and yourself, or you prefer a bunch of friends and beers every night and
yeah. So to be honest, until now, due to budget limitations and stuff, it's only been one cameraman and myself, and that was it. But of course, I think the ideal scenario for the future, and I'm hoping it's going to happen, would be to go with a couple or 3 more friends, and then travel with another camera guy and a photographer. I think that would be the ideal, but I'm hoping this is going to happen in the future. But for now, it's always been quite solo all the time. But as I said, it's more due to budget limitations.
Yeah. While we are at top 5s, give us your top 5 windsurfers of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah.
I think I have to go with the classics, no? Bjorn, Robbie, Robbie Nash. Growing up, I always looked at them. Josh Stone, he was my idol as well growing up. Probably just because of his character, but I really admired him, and he was my idol when I started windsurfing. And then, from recent years, I would say Victor and Brau. They are up there as well.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit, but heading into 2023, you sound very focused. Everybody I talk to is like, yeah, Marc is fucking boring, is focused, is anal about his gear, What's the goal? What are the goals for 2023? And don't give me this, I will see how it goes. Shit, please. You have to have something in mind. You have to have something like,
Yeah.
if I do well, if everything goes my way, then
Okay. Okay. If I do well, if everything goes my way, I would like to. Yeah. I'm aiming for the top 3. That's what I'm aiming for.
and what has to happen for this to be realistic? Like what has to happen? Things you can control and things you cannot control.
Things I can control, just sail. Yeah, just sail how I've been. What I've been training. And just sail the way I know. And then things I cannot control. I could I could that moment of the heat, the conditions could be against me, which happens. Sometimes you are just completely, the set is coming, and then then you are completely somewhere else. So yeah, that could go wrong, or you simply just don't have your day. That could be, but I feel like I try to control all I can control. Which is prepare for all any kind of scenario, and have the gear ready for that.
Yeah. Caddy, showing on the signs on the beach, all this stuff. You into this? Who is somebody showing you what you need to do, what the other guy scored, etc.?
Yeah, that's super helpful, especially if the guys on the beach know what they are doing. Yeah, and with windsurfing, we are lucky that it's a small community, and I feel like we all get along pretty well. And think we are nice people. So you always get other competitors / friends that they help you out on the beach normally. But definitely I learned the lesson from this year in Sylt, and just from carrying your gear up and down, that just demolishes you. And definitely gonna take a caddy at least for Sylt, and then of course in Gran Canaria, my dad always comes and helps me. It's like his little vacation as well. So that's good. I'm covered
Workation.
for there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
all this
good.
nice guy stuff and whatever. You should speak for the wave sailors, I think. All this helping each
Yeah.
other out.
Doesn't happen in racing, no?
I just feel like when you were also talking about like the conditions don't go my way, or it's not my day, or whatever, I don't hear that in racing, actually. Like, and I hear that a lot in when we are in Sylt together. It's like a really nice, like clash of worlds, where the wave sailors sometimes, you hear I was unlucky, or I was,
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Yeah, well,
and it is that, of course, you can, if you watch, let's say, one heat, or if you watch one contest, it can be that, but somehow, I don't know, like Toma Traversa always somehow sneaks through, or
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And I wonder what do you guys think of this, that it's always the same guys that seem to get lucky, and the
No,
same guys that
but
seem to get unlucky, right?
yeah, but this is what I was talking about. It's all the factors that you get control. Like I feel like if you train and you feel like you have prepared for all these kind of scenarios, then you can play your cards. If it's not going your way, or you can kind of make up the scores. But you can always have one of those fucking heartbreaking hits. That just feels like the ocean is against you. And it does happen. It does happen. And I think we've seen it in the past in Sylt, of course. Of big names fighting for world titles, falling in first round or second round. And it does happen. So. But I
but you know what I
totally
mean.
understand.
But you know what I mean. Kelly Slater used to always get the wave somehow when he needed one.
Yeah. Exactly.
And whether
Exactly.
it's some supernatural shit, or being in just in rhythm with the ocean, some people they're just like in rhythm with the sets. Like even freestyling, you see like somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you ride the set, kick out, and kind of wait, the sets come in certain periods, and whatever, it's kind of,
Yeah.
I really wonder.
Yeah.
And I think nobody really put it into words what it is, but there is something
Yeah.
that,
I think it's hard. Yeah. But I think it's mainly, just being to make up scores, to fabricate scores out of shitty stuff. I think that's important as well. And again, this just comes with practice, I would say, with time on the water.
reps. Yeah. But you know what I find really hard and tricky? I talked about this with Robbie when we were on the podcast, is like those reps. How do you get them in waves when every wave is different? Like Maui and Pozo are probably the two only places in the world where it's somewhat repetitive. Even Maui is different from day to day, but you can get the same section.
Yeah, Maui changes a lot.
Yeah, but at least you have this one section, that is always there.
Yeah.
And Pozo you can get repetition, but most other places, like it's more, you cannot, like,
changing.
It's physically impossible to try 50 doubles a day, because you just don't get the ramps, you don't get the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your take on this? Because you obviously learned now through the past years, you learned to get doubles consistently, you learned wave moves consistently, stalled doubles, push forwards, which if you try a push forward and it's not the right ramp, you're gonna get injured.
You just
Probably,
you get fucked. Yeah. So okay, there's something, for example, in the waves, there's something I learned from hanging out with Victor and sailing with him. It's like a good way of getting repetition. It's like, instead of being picky about the wave like you most of the times would do, you basically just like try and take any scrap, and then you just try to fabricate and try to do that move that you're looking for at the moment with whatever the wave offers, and I feel like that's a way of getting more percentage tries,
So you mean you go out and you think like, okay, I'm gonna do takas today. Today I just do a million takas, or whatever.
Yeah, instead of going to Japan and waiting for the set of the day to come through, you basically just, with any little bump that you can take, that you can see little opportunity, you just try and go for it. That way you can get a lot of repetition. And for example, the way I learned doubles as well, it's like I used to just try, and at one point try a lot of them, and at one point you learn, okay, if I do it on this ramp, I know I'm gonna get fucked. But if I then you learn to adjust, after doing a lot of them, and then you learn that, okay, that ramp I used to get fucked, and I know it's hard to do it, and then you learn to adjust yourself and then to make it around that, but again, it's just a matter of trying a lot, and not always find for the perfect stuff to try it. I would say, at least for me, it's worked like that, and people like Victor, that he's the best example at competition, as we spoke about. He's super good at fabricating stuff, and I think it just comes from that, from him just constantly being busy trying stuff. You see him on Hokipa sometimes, and he turns around, and you're like, what the fuck's he doing on that thing? And then suddenly you just see like massive, whatever, like Artaka or massive turn, and it's just because he's good at seeing these little opportunities in shitty stuff.
Yeah. But in contests, it helps to be, or you have to be on the best waves also. So it's kind of, I don't know.
Of course. Yeah. It's a mix. For me here at Hokipa, I used to always wait. And at one point, you go out of the session, you sail for like 4 hours, and you took like, I don't know, 5 shitty waves. And you're like, what the fuck? And at one point, I just learned that it's better to just take waves, and once you get into the rhythm, you learn to, then be picky after that.
Yeah. And then you go out, and I heard that's what you do. Like, you go out and you're like, okay, today I'm going to do goiters, or attackers.
Yeah.
And then you just do
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. No matter
Yeah.
if the wave is right, wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, of course, you gotta read a little bit. There's in certain situations where it's just too dangerous. That you can fuck yourself. So then you gotta learn to read that and back off if you have to. But yeah, just basically trying to.
And you learn to read it by getting injured, I guess.
As well. as I mean, like everything, it's like a kid when you tell him, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, and then they do it and they hurt themselves and then they stop. So I think it's a similar thing. No.
Yeah.
By getting
How
fucked
much-
up, you learn what not to do.
Yeah. How much you think talent plays into all this? Because you see people that try a move and maybe they land it, I don't know, after 3 times they try it. And everybody would say, oh, that person is so fucking talented. But maybe that person already visualized, maybe analyzed, maybe, watched all the video, maybe whatever. So what's your take on this?
I think hard work always, goes in front of talent, in my opinion, and you can be the most talented guy in the world, but be fucking lazy, and if you are not up to, fight for it and, and you want it and you don't want it hard enough because it just came too easy for you, then it's useless, no? And then if it comes a little harder for you, but you got to work hard for it, on top of that, you get all this learning process that you enjoy and you realize what you are really doing, which other people, they just go and do it. Oh, that was easy. It's good. Yeah, I think everything can be used, but I think you got to work for it as well. You cannot just be super talented and do it and then just get bored of it and let it go.
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, what would you sacrifice, or how far would you pull your pants down to win a world title in the next 3 years?
What would I sacrifice?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm sacrificing a lot already. Just realize I don't even have time to go home anymore. Pretty much, struggling, to spend time with my girlfriend as well.
What's home? That's what the people ask me. How long are you home? I'm like, what is home? Where is home?
Exactly. I've been spending more time here in Maui than in Spain at the moment. So yeah, I think as professional athletes we do sacrifice a lot already. If you are really up for it, and you gotta put the work and travel, then we do sacrifice a lot of this normal stuff, of having friends in one place at home, and then and then having a partner, and just we are constantly on the move, and it's hard to keep up with personal relationships with friends. Like I don't have contact with many of my friends from my hometown anymore, and I used to be with them all the time. So I think we do sacrifice a lot, and people maybe that they don't see it, but we do.
Yeah, but all this sacrifice, and you still have a few positions to go, no?
Yeah, exactly. But it's getting there. It's getting there, no?
So maybe you need more.
Something else.
Maybe you cannot speak to your parents anymore or something. I don't know.
This not this. I don't know what I would sacrifice, to be honest. Having a house now, for sure. That I was looking into not having a house. This I would definitely sacrifice, and having to be on the move for longer.
Yeah. So when are you flying out to Japan? Are you going early, late, last minute? What's the deal?
Yeah, I'm going a little earlier because most of the guys here, because I was gonna fly with together with with them, with the guys here on Maui, but they're all going a little later, and I wanted to just go a little early, so I'm flying in the 8th. Just wanted to have time to get used to the spot and the jet lag as well, get over it. And the forecast doesn't look so good, so maybe it didn't play out that nice my early arrival, but let's see.
Yeah. Is there a forecast for the contest though? Not yet, no? It's
No,
too early.
at the moment it looks very, very light all the time. And but yeah, we might get one day of wind before the contest, but then for the contest it actually looks like the wrong wind direction. Like it looks light and then the wrong wind direction. So
Shit.
I really don't know if that place works with that wind direction or not. Which is port.
So you're gonna go port tack, yeah. Everybody's so
Yeah,
stoked
imagine.
to get a starboard tack event, and then it's port tack. Yeah.
Imagine. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Like,
So good luck for that. Appreciate you coming on
thank you.
and spilling some knowledge. Seem very methodical, very focused. So we see. I'm gonna be watching how where it gets you this year, and
Thank you.
fingers crossed for you guys to have a great tour. And as usual, I see you in. And actually, maybe I see you in Pozo, because maybe we're gonna have
I
racing.
think
in Pozo.
yeah.
So
It looks like no. So I think that's gonna be interesting.
Are you bringing
gonna
racing
be-
gear?
No, at the moment I have nothing. I just have a 9.0 and an 8.4. So
Yeah.
I have no small racing gear. But I would actually like to race on the small stuff there. It seems fun.
Yeah.
It seems really fun. So,
Yeah,
but
let's
I'm
see.
definitely going to be excited to watch you guys race it, not just on foil but on fin. I think it's I really like high wind action on fin. Looks sick.
Yeah. Both. I mean, high wind in general. Windsurfing is
Yeah,
made for wind. so,
Exactly.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think you're gonna enjoy us going out through the shore break with the foil as well. So
Yeah, that I think that might be a little gnarly with all those slippery rocks.
yeah. Anyway, let's see. All right, take care. I'll let you
Yeah,
go
perfect.
and go sailing
Easy.
and go
Thank you.
be anal about your gear and yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, Maciek.
Yeah, take care, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.
Cheers.
There we go, Marc Paré, young up-and-coming talent. How will he get on this year? Well, he started off with a joint first in Japan, so we'll have to see and watch the progress throughout the year to see how he gets on, but definitely a talent. Let us know in the comments below if you like that one, who else you want to see on the podcast. As usual, like I said, the comments are always great. Massive thanks to everyone chipping in the beer money. Like I say, every week you guys are making it happen. Stay tuned to the channel, loads more coming. The future's looking, well, it's hopefully windy.